Alright, Telio there champs, and what are we looking at here? Yes, the Msi G66 radar. Of course, this is the one with the latest 30 series RTX graphics card. We're talking RTX 3060, 3070 and two 3080s, the 16 gig model and the 8 gigabyte model. Woof, that's the only way to fly. Now let me tell you something here. This is going to be one of the best sort of gaming / content creation sort of laptops you're going to get this year, without a doubt, no question. It's not absolutely perfect. There are a couple of things missing. We'll get into that later, but it's going to be one of the best in terms of gaming. You can switch between, you know, Optimus and dedicated GPU. So it is a killer gaming laptop with good battery life because it does have a 99 watt hour battery. So if you're in the market for a gaming laptop that can be used for content creation as well, and, you know, being able to use it out and about with decent battery life, this is the one for you. So it does come with the latest 10th generation CPUs up to i9. The one I have is the 10870H, which is a weird one. There used to be 10875H, but anyway, you can get up to i9 if you want. Of course, the graphics cards I've already mentioned. I do have the RTX 3070. It's a 130 watt package if you just slam the GPU by itself. If you hit the CPU as well as the GPU, it will be a 125 watt GPU. Comes in at 2.38 kilos, 99 watt hour battery, 230 watt package, and you can have up to 64 gigabytes of DDR 3200. I have 32 gigs in this one, so woof. The one I have is an absolute beast, and it actually has happened, okay? It actually has happened where this laptop here with the RTX 3070 is faster than a 3080 laptop I'm testing at the moment. Yep, it just happened. So anyway, I've got to say the build quality is very good. It's priced what you would expect for these sort of laptops. Leave a link in the description to the latest pricing. Inside you have two M.2, so that's awesome. Full HD webcam. And the killer thing for me is it does have Wi-Fi 6E, and you might think, well, what's so good about Wi-Fi 6E? Well, it's 5.2 Bluetooth as well. Wi-Fi 6E gives you another band, okay? So we're going to the 6000 or 6 gigahertz sort of band there. No one's going to be using that. Of course, you need the router to use that. But I can say out of every single laptop I've had out the back in the studio, this has the best connection to my Wi-Fi. I have a Wi-Fi 6 router. It's not 6E, but this has the best connection, the strongest connection. The Wi-Fi is amazing. So I thought I'd mention that. The display is like awesome. Brightness is 260 nits, which may not seem that bright. It's not uncommon for higher refresh rate monitors to be a little bit dimmer than, say, you know, 120 hertz monitor, etc. Color gamut, it's over 90% sRGB, so you're going to be happy with the color gamut, and the colors are pretty good. Mine is the full HD IPS panel. It's got a 3 millisecond response. It's super fast, super connected. It is an amazing display for gaming. You're going to love it. You also have a 4K model if you want. Apparently there may be an AMD version coming out with a 1440p. Stay tuned for that, I guess. Now I'll get into the things missing for a sec, but I'll talk about how good this is. Okay, so under full load, 65 watts CPU. This will go all day long at about 65 watts on the CPU. You know, it's par for the course with these Intel 10th generations. They get hot when you pump a lot into them. It's in the 90s when you're pushing that CPU 100%, but maintaining 65 watts is good. Under full load, GPU and CPU together, you get 125 watts on the GPU and you get around 55 watts on the CPU, which is excellent. It seems to be able to handle 55 watts on the CPU, no problem, while the GPU's been lit up 100%. You only get 125 watts on the GPU when the CPU is engaged. Otherwise, you can get 130 watts on that GPU. So thermal's all good. It's about 60 decibels on full gaming mode. Of course, I tested at full noise, the full performance mode, discrete GPU, extreme, everything. It's about 60 decibels. If you want to put it down to sort of like balance, it's about 52 decibels. So that's not too bad. So that's part of the course there with sort of gaming laptops. That's how it is. Battery life is amazing. 6-7 hours on a 99 watt hour battery, which is really good for a gaming laptop. It's about 23 millimeters thick. Yeah, it's a nice package, 2.38 kilos. It's, you know, for a gaming laptop, because its thermals are pretty good, you're going to be happy with the package, the, you know, build quality, etc. And it looks pretty good to me, that sort of grey finish on it. I like it. Now, this is where I was a little bit disappointed. Okay, so let's go to the ports. We have Ethernet, we have SD card reader, full size. We have HDMI, well, it just says 4K 60. I assume it's like 2.0B or something like that. Not 2.1 HDMI. I'll get back to that in a sec. We have mini display port out. We have 3 USB type A's, and then we have 2 USB type C's. I like that they have some of the ports on the back now, like the Ethernet, the HDMI and the power. It's really good there. Makes it for a nice clean setup. No Thunderbolt. That's up to you whether that means anything, but HDMI 2.1, I don't know why it doesn't have it. It's a little bit disappointing because I made a short saying the best thing about the 3000 series or 30 series GPUs from NVIDIA is HDMI 2.1 because I can play 4K 120 Hertz on my, sort of TV there. Well, with this one, you can't. The good news is it does do 4K 60. You can use HDR and you can use 10-bit. So there is some good news there, but if you want 4K 120, that's not happening. Now, one thing someone asked me to test on these are the speakers. The speakers are decent. They're actually pretty good. They're not MacBook Pro-like or whatever, but they're certainly serviceable. They're okay. So if we look at the gaming performance, I'll show you here. Yes, you can see that right. I tested them all on an external monitor. And if you want to know the 5 games, it is Flight Simulator, Cyberpunk, Battlefield, Warzone, and Witcher. There you go. It's the fastest and it's beaten a 3080. It's got good thermals, a good display. Also, we have one of the best RGBs in the business, all controlled by SteelSeries software. So that's awesome. So one of the best RGBs, the strip at the front, the keyboard, all controlled by SteelSeries, which is one of the best softwares in my opinion. This is going to be really hard to beat. Great gaming performance, beats a 3080, great display, good sound. The only thing is the trackpad. I don't know about that. That's not great in my opinion, but it's okay. It's serviceable again. You're going to be using a mouse, so who cares? And the keyboard's good. It has good feeling, and that RGB is amazing. I've got to say, this is one of the best gaming laptops you're going to get this year. And apart from, HDMI 2.1 and maybe Thunderbolt being missing, this thing is just killer. It's almost perfect. So yeah, if you want a great gaming laptop, this is the way to go. Catch you in the next one. Tally-o.